Раз. Бонжур, хат интеллигенция. Итак, начинаем с бонус, который добавился с Extended Edition к теням Гонконга. Загрузить компанию. Normal. Так, и переносим сохранение. Вкратце глянул на описание. Тут, судя по всему, непосредственное продолжение с нашей бригадой. Так, Rude Awakening. Something is wrong. The last thing that you remember, it was the night of the Kowloon City riots. You and your team were running an errand for Kindly Chen, recovering an object before the inevitable police response turned the city upside down. Everything was going well. You had the item in hand, and then nothing. The world went black. A sudden explosion of pain behind your eyes jolts your back to the present. A nightmarish succession of dream images flicker through your consciousness like a strobe light. A man with a pockmarked face. Slim fingers playing over the surface of your brain, leaving a slug's trail of agony in their wake. A second figure whose face you couldn't see, digging with relish through the scraps of memory that your tormentor left behind. It was a rough night, and now, as your eyes snap open and adjust to the light, you find yourself in a reality that is little more comfort. Где же я себя обнаруживаю? В больничке, что ли? A single bulb hangs from a corrugated steel roof. A dim light that it casts is barely enough to illuminate the table in front of you. Your head throbs in time with your heartbeat, and each pulse gives rise to a low, grinding, stomach-churning discomfort. Heavy weights on your wrists tell you that you've been handcuffed. Try to clear your head. You squeeze your eyes shut and count to 10. The pain in your head slowly dissipates, and your vision gradually swims back into focus. There is a rack in your lap, an old dishcloth matted with congealed blood. The dull ache that radiates from the bridge of your nose up and into your sinuses tells you where it came from. Examine your surroundings. The room is dark, far too dark for you to make out the dimensions. All that you can see with any clarity are your own lap and the table in front of you. Try to focus. Squinting, you try to focus on the hazy objects in the distance. A searing jolt of pain is your reward. With the pain comes a dream image, branded into your memory with crystal clarity. The first of your tormentors, the man with the pockmarked face. For a few torturous seconds, the image swims through your head, wriggling like an eel. Then, as suddenly as it came, the pain dissipates, fading away until it's swallowed by the relentless ache that throbs between your temples. In the distance, you can hear the pop hiss of a pneumatic door unlatching and sliding open. An enormous figure steps in the room, and the door slides shut behind him. Хрена себе, еще дальше можно было отдалить. You can just barely make out the silhouette of the troll standing across the table from you. Your other senses work to fill in the blanks. He's got a heavy build. The floor creaks every time he shifts in his weight. The rustle of fabric over hard, sharp keratin tells you that he has prominent dermal deposits. He's also wearing a way too much cologne. From the chest up, the darkness swallows him. You can't see his face. Ну, тут, в принципе, нормально нарисовали, видно. Hello? The troll doesn't bother answering. Instead, he begins to neatly arrange a handful of items on the desk in front of him. A notepad, a mug of soy calf, an old ballpoint pen, and audio recorder. When he's finished, he looks up from the objects and focuses on you. Good morning, Mr. Runner. How are you feeling today? Did you sleep well? Oh, I slept like a baby. This chair is cozier than it looks. Yeah, I'll bet. Glad to hear that you're keeping your spirits up. Sorry about the nosebleed, by the way. It's a common side effect of magical interrogation. Shouldn't cause you any more trouble. Magical interrogation? What did you do to me? Me? Nothing. Our mage probed your mind as you slept. Don't know the man by myself, but I'm given to understand that he's good. Uses a light touch. Okay. I'll have to thank this mage of yours in person. That'd be a lot more intimidating if you knew who you were looking for. Besides, he was kind enough to give you a cloth to bleed into. He didn't have to do that. Yeah, I'm sure he's a real prince, but your other mage sure as hell isn't. What other mage? I don't know what you're talking about. Your pal with the skin condition didn't mess up my nose. It was the other one, the second mage. I couldn't see the face. Must be a figment of your imagination. It happens sometimes. The brain invents details to try and make sense of what's happening to it. Give it a few days, and the confusion should fade away. You will see. Yeah, sure, maybe you're right. I am. We don't have two mages on site. If that isn't enough to convince you, I don't know what will. Now, let's go get it. Let's get to it, shall we? Run me through what happened last night. What was the point of the mind probe if you're gonna interrogate me anyway? Magic is great for pulling facts from a person's memory. It isn't so good at contextualizing them. What we got from you was a jumble of disorganized information. I'd like a lot of guesswork on our part to piece those facts together into a coherent narrative. You cooperate with us, tell us the story as you remember, and you can spare us some of that work. That will be good for you in the long term. If you lie to me, though, well, just don't. I'll know it. Now, if you please, tell me what happened last night. Just start at the beginning and take me through until the moment that we picked you up. Hang on, I'm not saying anything until you tell me who you represent. Sorry, you get nothing until we're sure about you. Course, the best way to ensure that happens is to cooperate with me. Tell me what I want to hear, and I'll pass the word along to the people in charge. Say nothing. After a long pause, the troll sighs. He lifts his notepad and begins to rifle through the pages. Alright, if you don't want to start, I'll go ahead and do it for you. We've made some headway in piecing together our mage's intel on the earlier part of the evening. You were headed to Combat Panks, the biker bar, at the behest of your fixer, Kindly Chen. Chen is a respected figure in the Yellow Lotus Triad. Chen sent you to Panks because he had something that she wanted. You see, talking to us isn't squealing. We already have all of your intel we need, but I'd be much more efficient if you would fill in the blanks. All that you are doing by climbing up is wasting time. You're doing just great on your own. I did tell you that we picked up your friends too, right? They are safe and sound in our hands, for now at least. If you refuse to help us, I can't promise that they will stay that way. I knew it. It was just a matter of time before you resorted to threats. It isn't my call. I'm not in charge here. I'm just a man doing a job. The best way that you can help your friends is by cooperating. If we already have everything we need, there won't be any reason for some higher-up to take rash action. I'll deal with you and your higher-ups later. For now, I'll tell you what you want to hear. Good. And for what it's worth, I'm sorry. For now, please do your best to pick up where I left off. You were headed to Combat Panks. Chen sent you there to conduct some sort of shakedown. Shakedown... Это... Нет, не ugly, нормальное слово. Combat Pan stole from the wrong person. He's lucky that Kinley didn't have him skinned alive. Yes, your boss has quite the reputation. Not the sort of person that a low-level gang leader should steal from. Speaking of which, says here that you were after a Jade Con from the Liangzhu period, dated back to 3000 before Christ, or thereabouts. Sounds about right, and again, we wouldn't have even been there if Peng hadn't stolen it. Not the smartest of moves on Peng's part. There aren't a lot of fancies who can move a thing like that. We've got it locked up for safekeeping, by the way. It's in good hands with us. Now you said we earlier. That was you and... Seriously? How can you not know that already? Just answer the question, please, for our records. Duncan Wu, he was my backup. The ex-cop, nothing I had more than a good guy gone bad. Okay, and who else? Так, кого же выбираю на это задание? На это задание выбираю Gobbet was with us. A red girl with a big mouth, right. Alright, got it. And who was the last member of your team? Gaichu? Gaichu. The ghoul. You know, I can't understand why anyone would willingly associate with a corpse eater. Guess it doesn't bothering you, though. Alright, so Chen sent a group of you to Combat Banks to recover very old rock, and she sent you on the eve of one of the bloodiest riots in Kowloon City's history. Funny timing, don't you think? Yeah, maybe. Kinder Chen has a flair of the dramatic, but for the most part, the riot worked to our favor. Таки да, riot worked to our favor. Единственное, что я хочу глянуть, это... Ну ладно. Не гляну. The distant sound of urban chaos rang in your ears as you led your team through a series of constructive back alleys. It was hot out, sweltering, and the humidity left your body drenched. A bad night for a riot, but it made for good cover. You'd been making good time since you left Hyoa, and Combat Panks was only a few blocks away. We're getting close. Smell that. Garlic, onion, sizzling oil. I'm thinking chicken wings. How you are getting any of that over the smoke and the tear gas is beyond me. You're right about one thing, though. We're getting close, and that means that we need to keep our guard up. He's right. Game face is on, everyone. Be ready to defend yourselves. I've heard stories about the Go gangs that Peng runs, the 888s, the Black Sun Boys, the Glinders, packs of animals in leather jackets, all of them, and they like to let their knives do the talking. Chicken wings, gun show. Focus. The guy that Peng has working the grill is supposed to be like some kind of chicken wizard. He caramelizes the wings in fish sauce. That's what the guy at the bus stop told me. I mean, how amazing is that? I could go for some chicken. See? Seattle gets it. The cops are going to be out in force because of the riots. We only fire in self-defense. Are we clear on that? If that is your wish, then so be it. We should keep moving. The riots have provided excellent cover for our advance, but they will not last forever. The alleyway stretched out ahead of you. Its claustrophobic confined seeming to converge together in the distance. Your team begin to move. Your team begin to move. Ну, давайте мувать, только камерку поближе. Не встаем в передряги, не встаем. Что с телами? The bodies had been reduced to a bloody ruin. Their mouths were frozen up in expression of silent terror. Your team gathered to examine the remains. These people were shot in the back. I don't see any weapons on them either. Somebody gunned them down while they were trying to run away. Bad night to go wandering. Speaking of which... Right, let's get to Panks. We don't want to stay out of here any longer than we have to. 100%. Не хотим. Так, а куда тут? Тут закрыто. Значит, наверх. Ля, набежали. Сволоты. The HKPF patrol stared you down, their weapons held at the ready. In the center of the pack, a man in heavy tactical armor loomed over the others. The plates of his armor were emblazoned with the regalia of Hong Kong's elite special duties units. Riot control officer. Hey you, stop moving and put your hands in the air. We don't want any troubles, we're just trying to get home. This is your final warning, stay where you are and put your hands... Save your breath, constable. Look at this man's clothes, his gear. These people are armed criminals and they're breaking curfew. You have your orders. I promise you don't want to do this. Open fire. Ну, понятно. Людки. Так, мы начинаем с момента окончания прошлой части. Соответственно, все мои обилки на месте. Что не может не радовать. И даже оружие, то, которое у меня было на момент завершения игры. Это радует. Это радует. Будем наваливать. Граната сколько берет? О, так здорово. Красиво. Красиво, еще на выстрел хватит. Да, попадать бы еще, конечно. Так, с облака сюда. Ну, попробуем. Рискованно, конечно, слишком вперед уходить. Будем надеяться, будет жить. Ху-ху-ху, красиво. Красиво, супер обилка. Обилка просто супер. Так, 78, 69. 78, естественно. Лежать собака. Ты 56. Давай 56. Добиваем потихоньку. Надо, наверное, эту взять. Хилищу и обилку стрельнуть. Так, схилищая билка это у нас где? Это у нас здесь. Кусь. Сюда. Да что ж такое? Везде промахи. А тут попал. Мистика. Ох, как удачно. Но не добил. Comlink. Without warning, the cracked and bloody comlink that you pulled off the body of the SDU officer cracked to life. A second later, a cold voice poured through the device speaker. Constables, this is great. It's her, the cop, on the all news cards when the APB on us went live. She set up the ambush that killed Carter and fucked up our lives. I want all units to move into position and sound off. You will then hold action until I say otherwise. We will put this riot down and resolve this city to order. Gee, that sounded ominous. You know, Seattle, that whole riot is a response to police brutality in Kowloon City. You think that maybe we should get off the street before Crate makes the call? Let's keep moving then. We'll try to keep the distractions to a minimum. Good call. Even if I could handle whatever Crate is planning, Kindley isn't paying us to kill cops. I mean, it's your call, but Peng's bar is right around the corner. I'd suggest that we just beeline it there. Погнали в бар. This block was harder hit by the riots than others you've been through. The air had been turned into a noxious slurry of soot, ash, and tear gas. It was stomach-churning beyond soul. Through the haze, you could see a patrol squad of HKPF constables facing off against a man and a woman in shabby winter coats. The man was doubled over coughing, clutching a loaf of bread in one hand and a cheap pocket knife in the other. The woman was holding a small crowbar frozen like a deer in the headlights. Both were clearly terrified. A half-dozen laser dots played over their bodies, projected from the sides of the constable's weapons. Drop your weapons, get on your knees, do it now. Please, our house burned down in the riots, we just needed water and food. We aren't looters, we just needed to eat. The police cannot see us through the smoke, at least not yet. If we give them a wide berth, we could probably slip past unnoticed. Of course, the people that they have caught will suffer for it, but that is a fate that they have brought upon themselves. On your knees. Так, начались дилеммы, да? Начались дилеммы. Ну, давайте вшатаем мусорам. Раз уж такая движуха пошла, вшатаем мусорам. Здесь бы, конечно, пригодилась гоббит. Ой, точнее, не гоббит, изобель. Опа. Меня никто не предупреждал, что они могут так же. Обидненько получилось. Угу, флешка. Флешка 0 урона. Давайте так. Теперь ты. Привет, Яна. Новые смайлики какие-то? Так, меч. Я никого не ударяю. И полечить не могу. Ладно, надо ныкаться тогда. А чё он всего 2 урона это получает? Ни хрена себе. Чё-то как-то газ их совсем мало коцает. Ядрит Мадрид. Чё ж так больно-то? В смысле промах? 80%. Сложно мечом попасть в упор в человека. Шутки какие-то. Так, Гай, что ты его добьешь? Хорош. Теперь давай этого. Раз и еще разок. Найс. Very nice. Я этого даже не видел. Даже не видел. Ой, нет, нет, я не хотел идти, не хотел. Ай, беда. Мискликнул. Мискликнул и поплатился. Застрелите вы уже его. Хотя, кстати. Раз мне ход дали, надо похилиться. Хоть немного. Теперь уже стрелять. Так, хорошо. Значит, нам не сюда, конечно, но поговорим с мирными жителями. We're alive. Oh, thank God we're still alive. We've seen the police do brutal things here before, but nothing like this. They were going to kill us over 3 new yen worth of bread. Listen to me, the cops are locking this entire area down. You need to get out of here and off of the streets. You don't have to tell us twice. Come on, love. We find a place to hide until this blows over. Будем считать, доброе дело сделал. Так, а где бар? Где бар? Все, вижу, где бар. Еще какая-то бригада людей. The police come in cracked to life again. All teams, ready your weapons and prepare for my mark. Do not, I repeat, do not move before you're instructed to. Anyone who fails to obey this command will answer to me. Await my instructions. Crate out. Crate out. A lanky man in a skin-light vest leered at you as you entered the bar. He looked like a low-level go-ganger dressed in Black Sun Boys colors. He stepped out in front of you to block the progress. Bar's closed. On orders of the boss. Step on out of here now. I'm not going anywhere until I've had a word with your boss. No way, you don't talk to Combat Punk, you talk to me, and I'm about out of patience with... Shut your mouth and get your boss, or I'll put a hole in you that I could drive a truck through. Hey, I don't wanna... Boss? Fuck me sideways, Jimmy. Have I got to do everything myself around here? What do I even keep you around for? Eddie Command Pen, the owner of Combat Punks and the ringleader of half a dozen Kowloon City Go gangs, the Black Sun Boys included. He leered at you through a mouthful of gold-capped teeth. Peng was a living stereotype, the surly dwarf in the flesh. 10 tons of Napoleon complex in a 70-kilo body. Alright, you won't listen to my boy, maybe you'll listen to me. We are closed. And if you wanna keep all of your fucking teeth, you'll turn around and go the way you came. No, no way, man. You reopened that kitchen and you do it now. We're here for wings and breasts and things. And we also want the artifact that you stole, because fuck you, that's why. You heard the man, Pank. We want chicken parts and an ancient rock, and we want them now, with extra sauce and a bucket of lobster rolls and a whole fistful of napkins. Wet wipes too, if you have them. He rubbed his fingers against the bar, an innocuous gesture, but it set alarm bells ringing in your head. All round you, gangers began shifting their positions, their smiles growing ugly, hands creeping toward holsters. From somewhere in back of the room, you heard an ominous sound, heavy footsteps, and the scrape of something metal against the floorboards. Kitchen's closed, sweetheart. Unless you wanna man the oven yourself, chicken's off the table. But if you come back for a happy hour sometime, I'd be happy to hook you up. Now, if you want the rock, I've got to assume that you are on Chan's payroll. That's true? Yeah, that's right. You've got her Kong, and she wants it back. Afraid you're mistaken on that front. Everything in this bar is mine, Buttercup. Mine. You're standing in my home right now. See all these people around you? They're my friends, and they don't take kindly to strangers who came... they don't take kindly to strangers who come in here trying to throw their weight around. The alleyways outside are crawling with cops, and they're preparing something big. You sure you want a gunfire in here? If they hear it, they'll have to investigate. Yeah, and wouldn't that be terrible? We certainly don't want any trouble with the police, 'cause you'd be dead, so... More shifting from the assembled gangers in the bar. Some of them looking angry, ready to start shooting and cutting, but others were clearly concerned. Kindy Chen's name carried a lot of weight in Kowloon City, and everybody knew the Yellow Lotus. The shift wasn't difficult for you to see, Pen could see it too. Tell you what, I am in a generous mood tonight, and I don't really need the rock for anything. Sounds like Chen's got you in a bind, so you're gonna be in trouble with her if you don't bring that back tonight. So I'll sell it to you. Give me, say, 500 new yen, and I'll have my boys box it up. А мне оставили денежки с предыдущей игры, да? Ну, платить я, наверное, не буду. 500 in chump change. Why let it go so cheap? I only took the damned thing because I thought that it might be magical. Something that old, caved out of jade with golden inlay. Well, you hear stories. Tell me about it. Anyway, fuck, if I could figure out how to make the damn thing work, far as I'm concerned, it might as well be a paperweight. I could fence it, sure, but that's raise questions. There aren't many of these things around, so I'm willing to let it go cheap, but I've got to charge you something. If I just gave it to you, what kind of precedent would that set? To reach for my blood. Think I'll just make it from you instead. The bartender fumbles for something under the bar. A second later, there was a sword in his hands, and the entire room was reaching for their pieces. Peng roared out something unintelligible, and the bullets began flying. Ну, очевидно, что к этому все шло. Сейчас надо будет еще крысу позвать, а то их 5 человек. Мало ли чё. Ух, них. Добрый вечер. Так, крысу. Крысу позвать. Моя крыса сюда, кусь. Крыса промазала. Бывает, бывает. Зайца даем. Кому даем? Главному герою, у него вроде пуха лучше. Главный герой. Чё по процентам? 50, 51, 64 топ. Топовый процент 64. 74 даже уже. Это интересно. А ты сможешь добить? Хорош. Хорош. Так, 66%. А ну. Ага, вот сюда не хватило. Давай ты. Так, и выстрелом тоже не хватит. Не кисло так на 25. Ха. Тут же все гранаты так может отбрасывать. Не кисло. Оу. Прям очень больно. Прям очень больно. Вероятность попадания так себе. Не уверен, что добью. Не уверен. 7 урона. Тут что? 8, да? И ходы еще. Ходы с уроном. Ну, кстати, можно крысой догрызть, по идее. С 3 ходов. Да в смысле не догрыз? Ow. Peng's jaw dropped as the troll's lifeless body hit the ground. The glowing barrels of her minigun ground to a halt. You killed her, you killed her, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna paint the bar with your blood. It's over, Peng. Give up, give me the rock, and maybe I'll let the rest of you walk away. The sound that came out of Eddie's Peng was closer to a bellow than a word. He was beyond sense, beyond reason. His men flung themselves back into the fray, and the fight continued. Окей, не, ну чё, не вопрос. Мы можем и продолжить. Можем и продолжить. Так, интересно, если я его завалю, надо ли будет с остальными его ребятишками драться. Или разбегутся. Все, не хотят разбежаться по сторонам, там, я не знаю, нет? Не хотят, судя по всему. Баум. Так, сберем, что тут есть. И валим отсюда. Сейчас еще с какими-то мусорами драться, судя по всему. Да. Seems like an awful waste. All of this trouble over a stupid hunk of rock. It's Cheng's rock. That's all we have to know. We'd better get moving. Something metallic hit the ground at your feet, cutting your shirt. A canister of some kind. You didn't hear where it came from. Ooh. By the time that you could process what was happening, it was too late. The metal tube erupted, sprayed out a hissing stream of concentrated vapor. In the distance, you could see a group of figures wearing gas masks. Not riot control cops and not SDU, but official-looking, wearing red uniforms. They were already moving in, wheeling in your direction. Hold your breath. You sealed your lips shut, but the vapor crawled into your nostrils anyway. It was sharp, with a chemical tang that you could taste in the back of your throat. It made your eyes burn and filled your mouth with saliva. You stumbled forward, struggling to right yourself. It was a lost cause. The world went black. И тут нас словил этот чумачичий тролль. The impound lot. Your words ring metallically off the confinement room's walls. You've been talking for so long, recounting all the tedious details of your run, that your voice hums in your ears after you've finished speaking. The single flickering bulb above your head sways in the invisible breeze. Beyond the light's reach, your interrogator stands shrouded in shadow. You can't see his eyes, but you can feel them quietly observing you from safety of the corner. His silence opens the floodgates to your thoughts, and the questions come pouring in. Were you brought here alone? With others? Most of all, what do your captors want from you? You've finished your story. There is nothing left to tell. It's his turn to talk. Ну давайте. The troll lifts his audio recorder from the table and clicks it off. He stands in silence for a moment, looming over you, sizing you up. Then he purses his lips and nods. And that's when we picked you up. That's right. When I came to, I was already handcuffed and sitting in this chair. Very good. Thank you for recapping all of that for me, Mr. Runner. Your testimony was extremely helpful. And now that you've helped us, it's only fair that you learn something in return. Oh, what's that? We recovered this at the scene. Take a look and see what we saved you and your team from. Say nothing. Just watch, don't touch. You don't want your fingerprints on this thing. Watch the video feeds. The feed is shaky. Whoever owned this device must have been panicked out of breath. You can see people, swarms of people, all dressed like the locals that you saw on the streets. All are carrying burdens of some kind of another. A laptop here, a knapsack there, backpacks bulging with shrink-wrapped food and bottled water. None of the locals appear to be armed. The camera wheels around and you can see a firing line of police. A man is pleading with them, begging to be let through. He says he isn't a rioter and none of the people here are. The constable, faceless behind his mask, says nothing. The camera focuses in on a figure behind police lines. Her features are instantly familiar. Chief Inspector Crates. She looks straight into the camera, then she reaches her hands to an ear and speaks into her comlink. Her voice is loud and clear enough that you can hear it from the PDA's tiny speakers. All teams, you know your orders. Open fire, put them down. An explosion of gunfire fills your ears, the camera spins crazily, and you catch a panoramic view of the bodies bustling like water balloons. Faces that you recognize from your trip to Combat Panic scream for help and are silenced. The second volley of gunfire catches the owner of the PDA. You hear him shriek, watch the camera spin dizzyingly. You hear a sickening crack and the video feed flickers and dies. The PDA goes silent. Without a word, your interrogator lifts it from the table and returns it to the evidence bag. They killed everybody. They just hosed them all down. They suppressed the riots. At least that's the story that all of the news are running with. Unofficially, it was a massacre. If we hadn't pulled you out of there, you'd have been gunned down with the rest. Why did you show me this? Good question. Let's just say that people at the top have had their eyes on you for a while now. You'll get all the answers you need soon enough. The troll stretches, slips his pen back into the breast pocket and flips his notepad shut. Then he taps a series of keystrokes into the PDA and the cuffs around your wrists go slack. The lights in the room come up and for the first time you can see his face and the badge on his hip, HKPF, standard issue. A laminated card clipped on his breast pocket states his name, Inspector David Yen. Okay, I think we're done here. Hang on, you can't show me that what you just showed me, then cut me loose. Who said anything about cutting you loose? I'm done questioning you, that's all. You're a guest of HKPF and you're going to remain that way until we say different. Am I under arrest, Inspector? No, if you were under arrest, you'd be at a nice cozy police station and I wouldn't be questioning you in a utility shed. Qui and them will clear everything up when you talk to them. Don't worry, they'll be sending for you soon enough. Q and Lem? Who are they? You'll find out. Q and Lem. Steel door. The door looks solid. You can't see any visible doorknob or latching mechanism from where you're standing. Most likely it's barred from the other side. Pound on the door and yell, "Let me out of here, you bastards!" You pound on the door with a closed fist and yell yourself hoarse. Nobody answers. Fall silent and wait. You calm yourself and settle back to wait for the door to open. And interminable amount of time later, you hear the sound of muffled voices, followed by a dull thunk. The escape of metal dragged over metal fills your ears. The door pops open, but only a crack. A silver of daylight streams through from the other side. Ну, погнали на уличку, я так понимаю. The sun stabs your eyes as you step from the interrogation room into the noonday sun. Blinking against the glare, your world gradually swims into focus. A familiar face greets you. Lados, you're out, thank God. They've had you locked away in there since we got there. Looks empty? The way that you were yelling, I assumed that somebody was beating on you in there. They got you too? Great. There goes my chance at a rescue. Yeah, sorry to have inconvenienced you. I don't get it. I don't get this. What are our captors playing at? And why didn't they interrogate us too? It doesn't make any sense for them to question you for hours while we are all sitting out here. None of this makes a lick of sense. Those idiots are wearing police uniforms, but this isn't central booking. It's a damned impound lot, and guessing you like they did is anything but standard procedure. Well, what do you know? The gang's all there. Yeah, we're all locked in this stupid box together, regardless to our participation in Kindly Chan's errand. It's kind of a long story, but that's where we are at. You know what else doesn't make sense? The cops coming after us at all. I mean, the APB on us was lifted, right? That's what Auntie Chen said after we got out of the walled city. It was lifted. The APB that Josephine Chen had crate put out on us came with a killer capture order attached to it, and they weren't paying much attention to the capture part. If the APB hadn't been lifted, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We'd all be dead, just like Nightjar and Carter. We should be dead now, or in a secure facility somewhere. Instead, we're sitting in an impound lot, and not just us either. At the edge of the impound yards, leather to the docks, the rusting hunk of the bolt hole rises above its surroundings. Heavy chains shake up from secure moorings on the docks to heavy macklocks that clamp down on the vessel's hull. She isn't going anywhere. They didn't just arrest us, they arrested our damned boat. And those of us on board were taken along for the ride. The bastards didn't even give me any warning. They just hooked us to a tug, cut away our moorings, and hauled us away from the harbor. Can you shed any more light on this at all, Seattle? I mean, did whoever you talked to in there let anything else slip or anything? The interrogator that we were here as guests of HKPF, whatever that means. Guests, eh? Yeah, sure. Back when I was with Lone Star, people would disappear sometimes, get dragged off to block sites, thrown in cages like these. They don't always come back out of them. How reassuring. Gaishu suddenly leans toward the cell door. His head cocked, an eyebrow raises. He lifts a gnarled hand, gesturing for the team to halt. Do you hear that? Footsteps. Someone is coming. Prepare yourselves. We are about to have company. Я надеюсь, приятная company. A uniformed constable wearing a surgeon's insignia passes through a set of double gates and into your holding pen. She walks with an air of quiet authority, her face an expressionless mask. A pair of wary eyes fix themselves on you. Vlados, step forward, please. Так официально. Жестко. Why? What's about? If you come along quietly and do as you are told, all of your questions will be answered. Now step forward, please. Senior Inspector Lem and Q want a word with you. I think I'd like a word with them too. That's the right attitude. Very good. In a moment I am going to let you out of this cage. When I do that, I want you to make your way to the common trailer near the edge of the docks. Don't try anything stupid. You are being watched. Yeah, I know the drill. Better get walking then. Go on, move. You don't want to leave the senior inspectors waiting. Они не могли просто выйти сюда, подойти, как бы не так и далеко, 20 метров. Я должен к ним идти, да? Ублюдки. The cramped confines of the command trailer are packed to the grills with security-rated technology. Terminals and surveillance packages all stamped with the Mitsuhama logo. Fill every inch of available space. Just ahead of you, a pair of senior inspectors, one male, one female, stand over a command console. The man offers you a friendly smile. Ah, Mr. Runner. You're here, very good. I am Senior Inspector Andy Lamb, one of the leaders of this task force. Thank you for coming so promptly. You say that if I had a choice. The woman and elf replies, thrown a mouth that seemed drawn into a permanent skull. Seems like you've got a firm grasp on the situation. That's good. I'll save us some time. Now, I've got a real bastards of a migraine, so let's try to make this quick. Yes, of course. My apologies. Senior Inspector Q. And as for you, Vlados, you must be wondering what you and your team are doing here. I get the feeling that you're gonna tell me. Long story short, we've got a problem and you're in a unique position to help us solve it. This is a job offer, Vlados. We want to hire you. Can't say I think much of your recruitment tactics. I'm sure that you don't, but you can't deny their effectiveness. Go ahead and pull up the line, Lamb. Lamb nods, and his fingers dance over the PDA's keypad. He raises the device to show you that he's pulled on the display. From the device, tiny scream of familiar face leers back at you. Lamb holds it to your face for a few seconds, then pulls the device away. You have history with this woman. She's the one that authorized the massacre on everyone on the street last night. Officially, we're not using the term, but you're right. That's what it was. Crate could easily have put those riots down without firing in unarmed civilians. She's a highly decorated officer, a leader of the HKPF's Elite Special Duties Unit. The bloodshed on the streets of Kowloon was no accident. She was advancing the agenda of some kind. Crate is the official face of the Special Duties Unit in Hong Kong media circuit. When they need a talking head for a news broadcast, she's the woman they go to. To her fellow inspector, she's a hero, a role model. They'd go to bat for her without a second's hesitation. The woman has a lot of pull. Okay, get it. Tell me where I come in. We'll get into the specifics later, after you've had the chance to mull it over for a while. If you choose to work with us, we'll give you a full briefing on the plan. For now, you should know that Lem and I were the ones who cleared the APB from your name. We've already helped you in more ways than one. In that case, I guess that a thank you is in order. That won't be necessary. The APB should never have been called out in the first place. Resigning it was the right thing to do. Now, we understand that the prospect of working with the police task force could feel foreign to you, but I fully expect that you have questions you'd like to ask. If there's anything pressing that you'd like to know, I'll do my best to answer. How the hell did you get my boat here without Kindly Chen stopped you? What makes you think that she could stop us? The Yellow Lotus is powerful, but we have a navy at our disposal. Navy? What did you do, attack Hioi? Of course not, we made a token show of force, and that was that. Kindly Chen doesn't want the Marine Police parking a Sea Panther off the Hioi docks any more than anybody could. would. As highly as she might think of you, she wasn't about to risk a shooting war to keep us from towing your houseboats. Понятненько. I'd like to go back to Hioi. You gonna let me do that? If you choose to work with us, certainly, when the job is done. If you refuse, on the other hand, well, that's a more complicated discussion. There's nothing complicated about it. I tell you to fuck off, and you unchain my bot and let me and my team go. Simple. That's not an option, I'm afraid. You know about this task force, and that makes you a security risk. If you refuse to help us, we're going to have to hold you here for your own safety. You can go back to Hiwoi when the job is done, and Krates and her people are behind bars. However long that takes. That's right, however long that takes. Or you could just help us and be home in a day or two. Your call. I wanna know who I'll be working with if I do this. What are your roles in this organization? I handle the technical side of the investigation, decking, information, monitoring and control, surveillance work, that sort of thing. Kyu is on the loan from Mitsuhama Corporates. She is a cop, just like I am, but her primary responsibility is safeguarding the company's image and financial interests. So we've got a cop and a company man and a company woman. I've gotta say, it's hard for me to choose which of you I trust less. I hope to change that, Vlados. And in the interest of full disclosure, we are both technically Mitsuhama employees. The Hong Kong police force is owned and operated by Mitsuhama. The company is obviously concerned by what's happening here, so they dispatched me to help Lam lead the investigation. Consider me a corporate liaison here to bring the gap between the suits and the uniforms. Sounds thrilling. It pays better than walking a beat. Here's one. Why me? There are plenty of other runners in Hong Kong. Other runners don't have a built-in reason to want Crate dead. You do. Beyond that, you're the perfect deniable asset for this job. If you get caught or killed, the SDU will assume that you were there to get revenge for what they did to you. Sounds enough reasoning, I guess. You really are the perfect runner for this job, Lados. When we pulled from your mind in interrogation confirmed it, we know that we can trust you for this job, and that's invaluable to people in our position. Okay, tell me where this impound lot is located. I want to know how far from home you've taken me. We are nearer to Aberdeen than we are to Hiwoi. That's about all you need to know. Secrecy is one of the most important tools for survival, Vlados. We can't give you an exact address. Okay, I'm done asking questions, so what's next? What's next is that we let you go for now. Take some time, think it over, and come back when you're ready to seal and deal. After you've accepted, we'll go into the details of the run. You know who I work for. Do you know what would happen to me if I agreed to work with the cops? It is very much in the Yellow Lotus's interests that this issue be taken care of. The Executive Council as a whole is happy to maintain the status quo as far as the Triads are concerned, so long as the Yellow Lotus sticks to its territory and keeps its soldiers away from people of status. The Council doesn't care what they do. But these corrupt cops, they are unpredictable. Who's to say that a councilman with an agenda, the Eastern Tiger Rap, say won't send them to hit your boss, Mage on Parlor? My John Parlor. Crichton and her people are wild cards, extremely well armed, dangerous wild cards, who wear the same uniforms that we do. That's a bad situation for us, and even worse one for you. Go talk to Chen and run our offer by her. Talk to your team too. Tell them that we've told you. We are confident that they will want to work with us. They should be heading to the bolt hole as we speak. Fun name, by the way. When you've made your decision, come back to us. No rush, no pressure. We're not trying to coerce you into doing this. We are all on the same team, and we are confident that your boss will see things our way. I'll talk to Kindly, no promises. То есть меня все-таки просто так отпускают. Можно поговорить и с командой, которую уже отпустили, и с Kindly. Ну, погнали тогда, раз такие дела. As you pass through the hatch and step into the familiar confines of the bolt hole, you find your team waiting for you. Well, this is a hell of a thing. You said it, Gansho. Not our best day ever as a team. So what's the deal with us? Who captured us? Are they really cops, or are we dealing with something else here? They're cops. Specifically the HKPF task force, run by a couple of senior inspectors. Knew it. This whole thing had the HKPF stink all over it. They can dress up whoever they want, but at the end of the day, a cop is a cop. So what does this task force want from us? Did they pitch their agenda to you? They want us to work with them to help take down Crate and her dirty cops. Really? That's interesting. What did you tell them? I punted, told them that I need to talk to Kindly before I could commit to anything. Good call. Might as well get this over with. See if you can get the old lady on the comm. We need to bring Auntie Chen up to speed on what's happening here. Давайте подключимся. You tap Kindly Chen's personal comlink number into your PDA and hit the send button. A moment later, the old woman's face appears on the screen. Lados, a pleasure to see you, dear. I've been worried sick. Now, would you kindly tell me where the fuck you've been? The HKPF gassed us on our way out of Combat Banks. They're holding me in an impound yard. Ah, I see. You're calling me from the police custody? They had a mage poke around in my head, Auntie Chen. My calling you isn't going to make much of a difference. They scanned you? How disappointing. Tell me exactly what they said to you. Don't leave anything out. The cops who took us are with an anti-corruption task force. The leaders are called Q and Lam, Auntie Chen. That's what the sergeant and the holding pen said. They're senior inspectors working on the order of the executive council. Those won't be their real names, dear. Not if they're letting you contact me like this. Well, whoever they are after the cops that were working for Josephine Chen. They want my help. They are after the filth who ambushed you, then. The ones that killed Nightjar and Carter. Nobody gives a fuck about Carter. You should know better than to interrupt me by now, Gansho. Now be a good boy and keep your mouth shut. Duncan clenches his jaw. He's clearly furious, but he says nothing. Alright, I want you to go on with it. Tell them that you'll take the job, with my blessings. I suppose that follows. You did love Nightjar. That isn't what this is about. Not entirely. I've always wanted to get a runner into one of the HKPS secure facilities, but it was never in the cards. Now, Here comes this task force inviting you in. If you can average my sweet Niger's deaths in the process, well, avenge. Well, so much the better. Okay, understood. Any special instructions that you want me to follow? Be smart, do nothing that could endanger the Yellow Lotus or myself, and report back to me if you see anything that could constitute a threat. Above all, keep your eyes open, and don't trust this task force of yours, whatever you do. I always keep my eyes open, Auntie Chen. That's why I'm still alive. Good boy. Oh, and Vlados, I am sure that the police confiscates the Kong that you procured from Eddie Chen, the one that I paid you to retrieve for me. Get it back. She thumbs a button on her PDA and the screen goes black. Блин, разговаривает со мной как было. Я бы, честно говоря, ее сдал вообще полиции. Паскуда такая. Самая мерзкая из всех троих барышень, которые были заглавную во всех трех играх, в танцклубе, в Кройцбазаре, ну, правда, там мужик был, как бы, но типа была главная, которую в самом начале убили, то это, конечно, ну, короче, с мадам Куботой не сравнится. Так, well, guess that's it, we're doing this. Kindly's right, this is an opportunity for us to kill two birds with one stone. We take down the cops that hunted us, and we collect intel on the HKPF. Then there is no more to be said. You go back to Lemon Q and accept the job. I will ready my gear. Ну, никто бы не сомневался, что тут как бы будет согласие, потому что иначе бы игра просто закончилась. Мы такого допустить не можем. Welcome back. Did you talk over the job with your crew? Yeah, we're in. We'll be holding you to that. Just tell me what you want me to do. Straight to the point. Good. You wanna get us started, Fiona? We know that Crate and her people are dirty, but we don't have any ironclad proof. We have to gather something concrete if we want to move on her. Got it, keep going. She's right. What we need is tangible evidence of Crate's wrongdoing, financial records, retail communications, video feeds, that sort of thing. We know where that proof is being held, but we can't get to it without tipping our hand. That's where you come in. Just tell me what you need me to do. Crate likes to keep her people close to her. They've consolidated their power into a single police station on the harbor. There it is, an old SDU headquarters and Crate's current base of operations. They call it the Tiger's Den. Seriously, that's like something out of a bad treat show. It's a throwback to the old days before the Executive Council took over. Back then, the SDU were colloquially known as the Tigers, or the Flying Tigers, head patched on their uniforms and everything. When Mitsuhama took over the HKPF's contact, they did away with a lot of the old symbols, but in this case the nickname stuck. We are gonna get you into the station and you're going to liberate the information that we need. Then we're going to take Crate and her people down. And how do you suggest that we get in? Through the front door? Not quite. You and your team will be smuggled in via the loading dock. We've secured transport for you through an old associate of yours, a pirate and smuggler named Captain Jomo. You're working with the Shadowrunners and a pirate? Aren't you supposed to be cops? Cops. We are a small task force. We work with the tools we have. So long as you and Jomo can both follow basic instructions, everything should work out fine. We've already provided him with a copy of the station's timetable. He knows when they'll be flush with cops, and when they'll be running a skeleton crew. He will time your arrival so that you'll have minimal resistance to contend with. You trusted intel on the inner workings of an HKPF station to a pirate? Those protocols will be revisited soon enough, believe me. There are going to be a lot of changes inside the HKPF after we've completed this mission, Mr. Runner. I promise you that. After Joma gets you to the docking area, our woman on the inside will get you into the complex. You'll need to make your way up to the administrative level. That's where Crate's evidence room is located. We will take up a position near the station, and from there we'll monitor your progress. Monitor us? How? Your team will be outfitted with mixed body cameras and condition monitors before you leave. We'll have a clear view of what's going on inside the station. Alright, so you'll be monitoring me. Fine, let's get back to the briefing. When you get to the admin level, you'll be stepping into hostile territory. Crate and her people have more or less taken over the whole floor, and they won't think twice about putting a bullet in your head if they catch you there. If you encounter any resistance up there, you're gonna have to shoot your way through it. They won't give you the chance to do anything else. I'll be calling in a favor with Mitsuhama to bring down the station's comms, so you won't need to worry about them calling in outside help. Anyone who's already in the building is your problems to deal with. You're okay with me killing cops? There aren't good cops. They're Crate's people, corrupt, violent, and dangerous. The kind of assholes that ruin the public's confidence in the HKPF and put real constables' lives in danger. Now, Vlados, I don't mind if you shoot them. If I could get away with it, I'd take them out myself. Going in quiet is safer, but go ahead. If it comes to that, do what you have to do. Once you get past any resistance that you meet up there, you're gonna be heading to the evidence room. The proof that we need should be stored on disk in there, or maybe in a terminal. You'll be looking for a log of bribes accepted by Crate and the SDU. We could also use any other proof of corruption that you can find. Transaction records, archived communications between Crate and her clients, that kind of thing. You'll pull the evidence, get back to the bot, and return the package to us at the impound yard. We'll analyze it, and once we're sure that we've got her nailed, we'll make our move on Crate. Alright, so I find the evidence room, grab the data that you need, and get back to Jomo. He will bring me back here to hand off the data. That's about the size of it. Think you can handle it? Guess we'll find out, won't we? You'll be fine. You made it through the walled city, and you can handle a run on a police station. If you need gear, talk to Sergeant Lee out in the yard. He is our quartermaster. I'm sure that Captain Jomo can hook you up with anything that Lee can't, including any additional personnel that you might need. The good captain asked about you, by the way. Wanted to have a word about some side work. That's okay with you? You won't try to stop me from doing my own jobs on the side? As long as you keep them quick and concise, you can do your own thing. We won't interfere, but our trust has its limits. Don't even think about turning against us or sabotaging this operation. You won't like what happens if you do. We'll wait on you to launch the operation. We're on the timetable here. When you're ready to go, talk to Jomo. We clear on that? Yep. Good. We'll see you at Crate's compound then. Я так понимаю, оружием меня снабжаешь ты, да, братишка? The constable standing before you is rail thin with wiry builds and lantern jaw. A pair of wire-rimmed glasses perch on the bridge of his nose, and his neck is wrapped with a sinuous tattoo. He glances up from PDA, locking eyes with you. So, you're the person of interest that everyone's been talking about. I hear that Q has big plans for you. You heard right. Lucky me, I guess. You are lucky. You get to walk back out of here when this is all over with. Most people in your line of work wouldn't be given this opportunity. Yeah, I know. What can I say? I led a charmed life. Или lead? Нет, lead. Yeah, seems that way. So, there's something I can do for you, runner? I didn't mean to distract you. It's fine. It isn't like I was doing much anyway. Things are pretty quiet right now. Go on then. Так, а где ж тогда... Где ж тогда оружие раздают? Подожди, как тебя зовут? I go by... You. You're runner, right? That's what it said on the form. Yeah, that's me. Good to meet you then. I don't get to talk to many people in your line of work. Not like this anyway. Usually my talks with Shadowrunners have involved a lot of shooting and tasing. Shouting and tasing. Sometimes shooting. I'm a talker myself. This is nice change of pace. Ну, это точно не... Точно не человечек, у которого можно было купить оружие. Вот этот, наверное, снабжает. Ага, квартирмайстер, технологист. А ну, что ты мне расскажешь? Так, the task force quartermaster looks disarmingly nondescript in his standard tissue uniform. His posture is rigid, his spine ramguard straight. He watches you with eye the color of wet clay, and the corner of his mouth curls into a smile. So, you're a new talent, the Shadowrunner. The brass told me that you've got clearance to buy here. So your money is welcome. If you need supplies, I can outfit you for a reasonable price. He gestures at the array of gear behind him. There are racks and racks of weapons, all neatly maintained. Off to the side, a pile of reinforced Duraplast crates catches your eye. They all bear the HKPF insignia, but you can also see stickers on their casings. Mitsuhama, H&K, Ares Arms. They look to be military supplies. Ну, расскажи тогда так. Армор. Армор у меня топ. Yes. Guns, grenades. Так, где-то моя топовая пушка. Вот это у меня, да? 36, damage 10. Кольт 2750. Это топ. Топовая пушка это у нас Арес Альфа. Стоп. Damage 16. То есть у меня... Ага, у меня Арес Альфа. А выше Арес Альфы только миниган. Только миниган. Ну тогда получается все. Я затаренный на максимум. Единственное, что я бы аптечек закупил, если есть. Если есть key consumables, фетиши. Фетиши не нужны. Дроны. Тоже нет. Репейр-киты для дронов. Нет, тогда все. See you later. Тогда мне, получается, ничего не надо. Пишу у техномена. Хотя у техномена мне точно ничего не надо. Сержант Джомо. Здорово, Джомо. Captain Jomo stands beside his speedboat, surveying the docks as if he was surveying his kingdom. His stance is relaxed, but an air of impatience lingers about him. His narrowed eyes are crossed, and crossed arms suggest that he's been waiting for a while. As you approach, his eyes light up, and he throws his hands into the air. Oh, my friends, finally they let you out of that ugly shed. I thought that they'd be many more hours at least. They have no sense of urgency. It wasn't so bad. A little nap, a little chat, some mind probing, just another day at the office. This is why we are friends, Vlados. No matter what the situation, you keep your sense of humor. I will be good to work together again, even if it's the police who are paying me this time. Hopefully we can both make some money while we are here. Music to Joma's ears. If they wish our help, they must grease the wheels with Joss. And my wheels are rusty indeed. So, my friends, how can Joma assist you? Do you need a ride someplace? If so, say the words and we will be off like a typhoon. Or perhaps you're interested in contraband, goods of the sort that your uninformed allies will not provide. I have all manner of unusual things for sale, if you have the new yen. What kind of things? Drugs, illicit software, even one-of-a-kind SIM chips. You name it, and Joma can deliver. Would you like to see my wares? Показывай, что продаешь. Так, продаешь кучу всякого оружия. Это мне не интересно, программа не интересна. Так. Так, аптечки. Обычные, мать его, аптечки нет. Окей, хорошо. Так. We may as well get this over with. Take me to the tiger's den. Кого берем? Кого берем? Кого берем? Ну ладно, пусть будет Дункан. Полетели. The Tiger's Den. The Duncan mistake screams over Colden Bay. The Drunken Mistake, господи, это ж название этой лодки. Cutting through grey weather and greyer waters. Round you, grim faces watch the skyline ahead as Droma steers you forward great headwaters, the Tiger's Den. Kiev and Lem have assured you that if everything goes to plan, the run should be relatively low risk. Ample experience tells you that plans often go astray, and that low-risk Shadowrunners rarely stay that way. But you also know that the reward for this run outweighs the risk. The incriminating data from the dense evidence room should be more than enough to bury crates, expose your clients, and cement your position with Kindlechan forever. Jomo cuts the engines and the drunken mistake drifts over the station's loading dock. It's go time. It's go time. It's go time. Кому-то дадим Гоббита, например. Cancel. The wood of the dock feels comfortably solid under your feet. Your stomach lurches anyway. The legacy of a long, bumpy trip hidden under the tarp in Joma's speedboat. The sound of water sloshing beneath your feet isn't helping. Remind me not to do that again, seriously. Next time I'll swim if it comes to it. Wouldn't recommend that, beautiful girl. Lots of snarls out there, sharks out there. Both normal and awakened. Nastier things too. Any one of them would be all too happy to snap up a little thing like you. Sharks, eh? We'll keep it in mind. I will wait here with the boats. You come back to me when your business is done, and I will take you home. You see her? That lady there. PC Chun. Is your contact. She can get you into the building. Thanks, Jomo. Of course, you're my client. You pay me, I take you whatever you want to go. I help you and you get out of this safe. Then maybe you pay me again tomorrow to take you someplace else. Go on now. Raid your police station. I will wait here with the drunken mistake and protect her from the advances of any swine who might try to impound her. Don't leave us waiting too long, eh? Jomo is possessed of many fine qualities, but patience is not one of them. Курва, хоть бы не киданул-то. Don't worry, we'll make this as fast as we can. Хоть бы не киданул. Так, женщина. Женщина, ты мой связной. The constable beckons you forward nervously. She's doing her best to stay calm, but you can see that she's sweating as you approach. Her gaze keeps fitting back to the station door. You're here, right on time. Good. I don't think I could wait it much longer. Guess I'm glad we're not late then. You and me both. Here, take this. She searches into one of the voluminous pockets and fishes out an object. A slip of plastic, sleek and shiny connector to an alligator chip. The word visitor is emblazoned on the front. Stylish and functional, I like it. You should. It will mark you as a friendly to the station security system. If you try to enter the Tiger's Den without one of those clipped to you, automated systems would sound a general alarm. Every cop in the building would converge on your location. They only issue these things at the front gate, and only after a thorough security check. Anyone who sees you will assure that you're supposed to be here. As long as you don't do anything to arouse suspicion, you should be fine. And this badge of yours, will it get us up to the second floor? Afraid not. I was able to get you the badges, but I don't work the security desk, and that's where you'd need to go to get access to the elevator. I'll tell you what though, the desk sergeant on duty, Shen, is my friend. Tell him that you need to meet with Mia in admin and to go over some paperwork, and he will upgrade your badge's clearance rating. I've seen him do it 100 times. Mia in admin, got it. Good, and I think that's everything. There aren't many constables in the building, just enough to keep the place running and make sure that the interrogation subjects don't escape. It shouldn't be pretty dead in there. Works for me. On the off chance that your cover gets blown early, you might have to shoot your way to the evidence room. I don't much like the thought of that, but I know that it might happen. I'm gonna steer clear of the station until you and your pirate friend have cleared out. If you do wind up going loud, I don't wanna catch stray bullets. I don't blame you. If I could get out of this, I probably would. Yeah, well, it's a little late now, huh? There you go. Get in there, and if you get caught, we've never met. Don't worry. We've got it covered. You'd better. I'm putting my ass on the line to help you here. My life is very much in your hands. If you're that worried, why did you agree to go along with this in the first place? Creating her people, what they're doing is fucked. Everybody in the station knows it, but nobody wants to make waves. When Q approached me, I saw my chance to do something, to be a good guy for a change. I figured that I owed it to myself to try. I know, totally cornball, right? Like some cliché out of an old movie, but I guess that I'm doing it anyway. Go ahead and take that for what you will. Now go on, do your job. Get Lem and Q what they need to bring this place down. Ну, погнали. Погнали. Так, evidence bag. Это, я так понимаю, мы собираем барахлишко, да? An evidence bag filled with SIM chips. The seal has been broken, indicating that it has been tampered with. Based on the paper inserts, they are BTLs, and the last person to check the bag out is Constable Ayun. A cramped note, it reads, Ayun, I need you to finish the following tasks before clocking out. I'm not going to have a chance to. This is followed by a bullet point and list of bureaucratic duties. Так, значит, мне надо... Мне надо поговорить с барышней. Или не с барышней. Как тебя звать-то? The desk sergeant looks up from a book of crossword puzzles, his nose reeking in irritation. He fumbles for an oversized hand scanner, lifts it to your chest, and sweeps a beam of laser light over the barcodes on your visitor badge. What can I do for you, Mr. Weber? Good evening, Sergeant Shen. Afraid not. Shift change. Shen's on a smoke break. So, you want something or what? I'm supposed to have up to the second floor. Can you grant me elevator access, please? And who was it that was supposed to meet you up there? I need to talk to Mia and admin to go over some paperwork. And what kind of paperwork did you need to go over with Mia? Ох, я чувствую, сейчас начнется стрельба прям сходу. Well, sir, I just moved into your precinct and I need to find my bondsman papers. Good on you, you'll need to head up a lever for that. You know, some of the sad sacks here at the station have a problem with bounty hunters. Scum that prey on scum, they call you. But me, I love you guys. You doing what you do. You doing what you do makes our job easier. Ага, все, понял, ехал. Glad to hear. Could you grant me elevator access? Sure can, just a sec. The desk sergeant's fingers clatter against his keyboard. After a few seconds of typing, he unlocks a small device with his belt and waves it in your general direction. And LED set into device case turns green and you hear a charming sound from a badge on your chest. There you go. You're all set. You know where to go when you get up there. Thank you, sir. His attention has already shifted back to his crosswords. The only response that you receive is a non-committal grunt. Так, а куда дальше по лесенке? Где лифт? Туда. Ищем. Так, the elevator's access panel is simple in design. A chamfer-framed box of hard anodized aluminum outfitted with a card reader and a set of inside speakers. There is no screen to look at, but no button to press. The card reader is the panel's only input. Давайте проведем карточкой. The light above the elevator flashes green and a happy tone chimes out from the access panel's speakers. It looks like you've cleared to go up. Remember, while you're up there, you need to stick to the areas that you've been granted access to. No further. You bet. You bet. Stepping into the hallway of the administrative level is like walking into an entirely different environment. It's much cooler in here, and the burnt Soikev odor of the recycled air down below is nowhere to be found. The elevator doors slide shut soundlessly behind you. A moment later, you hear the click of maglocks spinning shut. So far so good. Didn't expect that we'd make it up here without setting off any alarms. That said, things are probably gonna get a lot rougher from here on now. 5 will get you 10 that it's only a matter of time before we have to go loud. Good. I've never been a fan of sneaking around anyway. Lead on, Blados. I'll be right behind you. Ну, погнали. Камеры там, камеры тут. Куда идти? Каков маршрут? Охренеть, я задолбался стрелочку нажимать. Это просто гигантское какое-то расстояние надо проделать. Этаж просто нереально большой. Нереально большой. Так, коридор лидер. Поехали. A burly constable glances up from his terminal with a start, a look of bewilderment on his face. The surprise quickly turns into annoyance, and his lips seize into a deep frown. He clears his throat, and his colleagues lower their hands to their weapons. You shouldn't be up here. This area is off limits to a non-HKPF personnel. Я думаю, Мия это прикрытие, ну хз. Ну ладно, not to me. They sent me up here to talk to Mia. In admin? Damn right. Soon as I open the door for you, you'll want to proceed through there. Mia's office is that way. Through there, last door on the left. If you hit evidence lockup, you've gone too far. Don't go anywhere you haven't been cleared to, and don't make me regret not sending a constable to escort you. Thank you. A non-committal grant is the only answer you get. The constables return their attention to their terminals. Ну, погнали. Погнали. Сходу зажал Alt. Возможно, что-нибудь найдем. Оп. Берем. Как удачно. Панелька. Unlock the door. This is it, I guess. Moment of truth. Let's get in there, find the evidence, and get the hell out of here. Already on it. Ух, я не верю, что мне удастся выбраться отсюда без боя. Все, берем. Project Files. Project Zeta. Drugs. Берем. Все берем. Terminal. The terminal comes alive at your approach. Its display filling with ghostly amber text. Hong Kong Police Force, Departmental Evidence Database, Aberdeen Station. Press any key to begin. I guess that this is it. Whatever evidence Q and Lam are looking for, it's got to be in there. Go on, Vlados, search for something. Ах, Еунг. Давайте попробуем. Алло. Во. Ах. Еунг. Нет. Окей. Крайт. Да. Крайт. Так. Search and see for term crate. File not found. Wait a second. What the fuck? It's blank. There's nothing on this terminal. No files, no evidence, nothing. This isn't good. That's it. We're gonna cut and run, and we need to do it now. To hell with that. We keep looking. If the evidence isn't there, we search the building until we find it. И где же эвиденсы? Меня уже тут накрывают. Inspector Q? Lados, you're alive. What the hell is going on here? You tell me, what are you doing here, Q? We lost contact with you. Your body cam's cut out, and your condition monitor flatlined. You should be the evidence. Did you find it? There was no dirt on crate in this room. Q, no data files, no video, nothing. What have you walked us into? What the hell is going on? Someone is playing with us. Not just you, but me and Lam, and that means that they know about the task force. Wait, Q, we don't know. Yes, we do, Lam. Wake up, we are in trouble here. Ready your weapons, Vlados. We are being fucked. Yes, Q, you are. Что происходит-то? Strange energies arc up from the ground, taking the wind from your lungs and the strength from your legs. You crash to the floor like a sack of bricks. The impact sending balls of pain from your knees up through the spine. Out of your peripheral vision, you see Senior Inspector Q go down, her lips curled back in agony. Your world dissolves into the sea of pain. Sorry about this, Mr. Runner. If there were another way, I wouldn't taken it. You know how it is, nothing personal. He turns to Senior Inspector Q, a hint of a frown tugging at the corners of his mouth. He looks into her staring eyes, reads the outrage and betrayal in her face, and sighs. Believe it or not, I'm not doing this to hurt you either. Hell, I'm trying to fix things, but you're in too deep with Mitsuhama to see that. I could try to explain it forever, but you'd never understand. You can come out now, Wallace. It worked. Wallace-то еще кто? A group of mages, cold and armored, step forward from the shadows. Each is decked out in the colors of regalia of the Special Duties Unit. The man in the center of the pack pulls back the hood, revealing a familiar pockmarked face. The face of the mage who interrogated you. Back then, all of this began. Of course it worked, it was my plan. And there she is, the company woman herself. Got anything to say for yourself, Q? Any more edicts from Mitsuhama to deliver? The scintillating energy that wraps around Q's body tightens and intensifies, holding her fast. She doesn't make a sound. Didn't think so. Quit gloating, Q. I brought her here because she is a threat to what we're trying to accomplish, but she is still worthy of respect. Did Crate fill you in on what happens next? Of course she did. We strip everything that Mitsuhama and the Executive Council's task force know about our operation from Q's mind, via magical interrogation. Then she suffers an accident, and your pet Shadowrunner takes the fall for it. Ля ты крыса, конечно. Okay, that sounds about right. Crate also said that, remember who you are talking to, Golden Boy. I recruited you into this organization. I don't need instructions from you. А ну попробуем достать оружие. You struggle to draw your weapon, willing your body to respond. Your muscles refuse to cooperate. The crackling red glow from the floor flares up and intensifies, pulsating like a living thing. Looks the poor fool is trying to move. We've ensnared your essence, asshole. You belong to us now. Don't try to fight it with us. You will only hurt yourself. We all know that what has to happen here, but there is no reason why it can be quick and painless. Just look at Fiona. She isn't struggling. She's accepted it. As Q stares at Q, the smile on his face slowly dies. A look of confusion replaces it. He takes a hesitant step forward, starts staring. What? Has something gone wrong? What is it? Your partner. I can't read her aura at all. It's strange. It's like there's nothing there. What are you saying? How can she have no aura? You feel the heat welling around yourself before you can see the coalescing energy. It hits you like the exhaust from a blast furnace, and then, all at once, Q begins to move, and the energy that ties you down evaporates. Опачки. Опачки. А барышня такая. Добрий вечір. Доброго вечора, ми з антимагічного комітету. Ну, этих петушар я-то сейчас расстреляю. Чепушилы. Сюда. И перезарядочка. Так. Ты раз. Сюда два. Не кисло так промазала, если честно. Это неплохой такой наборчик. Жаль, только куча промахов. Вот это жаль. Ну, один маг, лечащийся на 10 хп и просто сносящий мне одно АП, это уж смешно. The last of the major stumbles to the ground, crashing into the linoleum in a bloody heap. Key glowers down at Lamb, her expression clouded with betrayal. I didn't think it'd be you, Lamb. Whose betrayal doesn't surprise me, but you had me fooled. Lamb stares at Q's, wide-eyed and unblinking. The entire left hand of his torso is charred, carbonized. The synthetic fibers of his suit have melted and fused with burnt flesh, causing the wounds to look disturbingly sleek. He doesn't scream, he just stares. How? A gift from Mitsuhama Corporate. It provides protection, but more importantly, it masks my aura. Keeps treacherous little fucks like you from learning what they're up against until it's too late. Does anybody want to tell me what the hell just happened? I'm a mage. At the risk of sounding immodest, a damned good one, Mitsuhama Corporate felt that I might need an ace in the hole, so they gave me the necklace to keep my talents hidden. Turns out that was the right call. My former partner here just tried to betray us, along with another member of our task force. They were with Crate and her people on their employer's payroll. Ku is dead, so problem solved here. But Lem has only just begun to learn what a horrible mistake he's made. Lem struggles to rise to his feet, but his body won't cooperate. Lightning-sealed flesh cracks open with the movement, and he finally begins to scream. Oh, and it is too late for you, Lem. There is no scenario where you can get out of this room alive. But before you die, I'm going to go digging in your memories. You should really be unconscious for this, but we're running short on time. Lem's screams intensify, growing in volume and pitch. Blood streams from his nostrils and he begins beating his head against the ground. Key closes the fingers of her left hand into a fist, and the dying man's muscles seize. For a torturous second, his back arcs up off the floor, and then he goes limp. Son of a bitch. Ну это да. If you learned anything useful, spit it out. We need to get moving. There's nothing in the evidence locker, just like you said. And Lem knew that there wouldn't be from the beginning. This mission was over before it started. He was on Crate's payroll, right? Maybe his PDA has some answers. Good thought. Grab it and we'll check it if we make it out of here. Between the PDA and what I pulled from Lem, we might find some answers after all. You interrogated me while I was unconscious. I couldn't see your face, but it was you. Yes, it was. I couldn't trust Ku or his intel. Hell, I couldn't trust anybody that I hadn't scanned personally. There was no way to guarantee that they weren't compromised, so I did what I had to do. True enough, I suppose. Can't fault you for being thorough. Spoken like a professional, you get it. It's just a job, nothing personal. Now, we really need to pool our resources and work together to get out of here. It's the only way we are gonna make it out alive. Deal. Let's get the hell out of here. That way back the way we came, that's our way out. We need to find our way out of there and back to Captain Jomo. And we have to do it before the SDU corners us. PDA-шечку-таки берем. Сейчас начнется мяско. Мяско. Command Center Terminal. Q types a rapid-fire series of commands into the terminal's keypad. A moment later, a system's ring of integrated holoprojectors hum to life, and a shimmering column of light appears over the machine. Mitsuhama command cones still work. I've taken the system out of standby mode and powered everything back on this floor. Let's see what we are up against. As Q's fingers fly over the keyboard, a cascade of information flows into the holodisplay. Countless windows, charts, and spreadsheets blossom into existence like ephemeral, ghostly flowers, hovering for a few seconds before winking away. The senior inspector's gaze feeds from window to window, and the confidence on her face slowly dies. Well, that inspires confidence. Oh shit. More good news, I take it? Not exactly. It looks like Crate and her people had a contingency plan. Something to spring on us just in case their mole dropped the ball. Keep talking. SDU has the building surrounded. All of the land exits are covered. They've got us completely locked out of the elevator, and they've got boats coming in to cover the harbor. They bastards have also dispatched an HTR team to dig us out. They are already in the building, heading to this location. Getting back to Jomo is sounding pretty good to me right now. Please tell me that you've got an exit strategy. Working on it. They've denied us access to every conceivable route off of this level, but I might be able to bypass one of the lower security locks. Yeah, that should work. There's a flight of stairs around back. It will take us all the way down to the motor pool. I can try to force the lock, but it's gonna take some time. Fuck, I've been booted from the system. Did you get us access to the stairs? No, I have to find the panel and do it manually. Listen, Vlados. I was able to unlock the main door to this command center, but I won't stay that way for long. On-site security initiated a protocol to seal us in here just before they booted me. We've got a couple of minutes, maybe less, before the locks rearrange and we wind up trapped in here. Doesn't sound good. It isn't. We are already stuck in this floor and they're doing their damnedest to make sure we can't even leave this room. I was able to open a matrix port on this terminal. There might be something in there that can help us. If you want to search the system, it might be worth the risk. Otherwise, we should clear out of this room before we get sealed inside. To hell with the Matrix, it isn't worth the risk. That's probably the safest choice. I leave it to you. There are a couple of training rooms with power-down turrets on either side of the doorway, just beyond this room. Might be a decent place to make a stand, especially if you can get those guns up and running again. After we've handled whatever hostiles Kraid throws at us, I'll crack the door and get that staircase open. We'll climb to the motor pool, and from there we can make our way back to the Jomo on foot. Let's do this. You hear a loud crash down the hall, followed by the thunderous clamor of heavy footsteps. Armored troops approaching from your fronts and sides. Q hooks her hands into a spellcasting posture. Get ready, Vlados, here they come. Let them come. LMG mounted and loaded. Так. Что сделать-то надо? Так, ну попробуем в тупую для начала. Для начала попробуем в тупую. Тупую не получилось, гранатки не долетают. Nice. Не добежит в любом случае, да? Так, отсюда прибегают. Со всех сторон, сволочи. Со всех сторон. Ну, неплохо, неплохо. О, еще идут. Как же вас тут много-то, а? Все целые. Какая удивительная ситуация. Редчайшая, чтобы все целые. Не то нажал, не то. Не то, ну ладно. Ля-бугай какой. Какие бугаи-то, а? Не. Грусть. Грусть, тоска. Шикарно. Я даже не ожидал, что такое возможно. Жестяк. Жестяк. Так, хорошо. Это было весело. В итоге себя накоцал. Что происходит? Что происходит? Блин, ну как-то совсем плохо летит. Прям совсем плохо. Сколько вас там? Это вообще по воробьям. Настолько по воробьям, что аж стыдно. Да сколько же вас тут? Просто бесконечные орды какие-то. Намек, понял. О. Ну, у вас, конечно, бесконечное количество ушлепки. Так, еще даже ход останется нам. Угу. Ты говоришь, ты сильный маг, да? Женщина, кому ты обманываешь? Кого ты обманываешь? Так, ну погнали. Текаем в тупую. Now that we've got some breathing room, I'll do what I can to get access to this door panel. She leans in, studying the panel, then enters a series of key code commands. After a few moments, you hear an audible click. And there we go, staircase unlocked. Do me a favor and take point, Vlados. I think that I soaked up some drain busting us of that trap. My head is swimming. Gonna be alright? I'm fine, just lead the way. I've got your back. Ну, побежали. Да, погнали. The tiger's den. The sound of gunfire echoes through the halls behind you. You press forwards, a sea of blood and corpses in your wake. So far so good. Not all that you need to contend with is a police station overflowing with SDU officers, all of whom you want you dead. The motor pool seems like the best way out. Plenty of cover and a straight exit to the docks, where Jomo is waiting to extract you. Kiwi is deathly silent as you descend toward the motor pool, her eyes narrowed to slits. As the door swings open and you step out into the light, you steel yourself for whatever comes next. Что comes next? Следующая драка, судя по всему. Да, следующая драка. Поехали. Так, Изобель, родненькая, ну давай, напрягай пацанов. Ух, хорошо. Ух, хорошо. Armor damage. Шикарно, я бы сказал. Nice. Very fucking nice. Ну тогда иди вперед, прячься. ХПшки у тебя дофига. Справимся. What? Это что было? Это что за наркомания с бросанием гранат в упор? What the fuck was that? Так, ну ладно. Валим бугая, который не застанен, я думаю. Все, конечно, огребают. Не хотелось бы. Давай тогда сюда. Так, ты давай сюда. Блин, мне показалось, я нажал идти. Это была бы большая ошибка. Так. Лечимся. Далеко же с 10. Но врагов пока не видно, это радует. Это радует. Кстати, локация очень похожа на ту, которая была на миссии, где мы пробирались в небоскреб. Сейчас надо, наверное, всеми поперезаряжаться. Раз предоставится такая возможность, противников нету, тоже тогда подходим, перезаряжаемся. Это что за оторванный от реальности молодой человек? Что он здесь забыл в Соляного? Не в Соляного, вроде еще там кровь. Да-да-да, есть, есть. Есть, хорошо. Тогда ты выстрелишь еще раз. Ты потихоньку подходи. Этому обязательно надо сюда добежать. Он гранаты перехватывает. Он тут необходим. Кому-то там влетело, но, конечно, очень мало влетело. Два. Осталось два. Не два. Пришли еще. Бугаи еще пришли. Ну хорошо, хорошо. Гранатометик перезаряжаем. Два выстрела и перезаряжаем снова. Промах. Ну, промах так промах. Ничего не поделаешь. Обидно, конечно. Давай так. О, со спины. Оу, 3 со спины. Так, ну я смотрю, эти 3 со спины — это просто идеальнейшие кандидаты на гранатомет. Как бы там ни было. Просто идеальнейшие кандидаты. Так, с тобой разберемся позже. Давай ты сюда. Ты сюда. Найс. Найс. Ого, 5 урона. Серьезная заявочка, однако. Так, хорошо, иди сюда к остальным. Акураси кому-нибудь поднимешь, и хорошо. Найс. Изи-пизи лемон сквизи. Я, правда, боюсь, еще на улице придется с ними подраться в доках. Не, ты смотри. Ah, you return, and the lovely Senior Inspector Q is with you. Are you ready to go, my friends? Get us the hell out of there! There are patrol boats on their way. Marine Region patrol boats swallow like pigs in shit. We will run circles around them. Get to it, then go. Best climb in and bucky yourselves down then. There will be a bumpy ride. Bumpy rider, блин. Water lashes your face as Joma opens the Drunken Mistake's throttle. The boat bounces over the surface of the water like a skipping stone, half jolting you out your seat every time it splashes down. Joma's voice roars all over the din in a sing-song cadence, joyously barking out a song of Indonesian. Aku seorang kapitan, mempunyai pedang panjang. Kalau baila... короче. Well, he sounds happy. Jomo is happy. You must all join in celebrating his triumph. Our pursuers are shaken, thrown from our trail like a bucket of peas from a poor man's window. And now, your glorious Capitan will have you back to your impound yard, where you must feast and drink to his success. Wait, the impound yard is compromised. Crate's people might even have it surrounded already. We can't go back there. She's right, Lamb was a mole, a part of Crate's conspiracy. They're gonna know everything that he did. I know a place, somewhere that the HKPF cannot approach by land, air or sea. Jomo will take you there, and then he will try very hard to talk his way out of suffering the consequences. The Ben 10. The Drunken Mistake's turbocharger motors chum through the open water, leaving a trail of frothy sea behind you. The Aberdeen docks quickly recede into the distance, and Jomo powers you steadily deeper into international waters. In the back of the boat, Q stands alone, one hand cupped over her ear, shouting into her comlink. You can't make out what she's saying over the roar of the Drunken Mistake's engines, but from the expression on her face, it isn't going well. Jomo throttles down the engine nervously, staring into the water just beyond the speedboat's hull. You soon discover why. Sea mines. With careful precision, the pirate steers the nimble craft around them, aided only by his skill and a handful of Indonesian curses. As Joma pilots you through the minefield, a jagged shape in the distance begins to grow larger. It's huge, a slab-like ship surrounded by a number of smaller vessels. Grinning the pirates... The pirate show? You step on the converted barge with unsteady legs. The deck rocks with the rolling motions of the waves, and you can hear the slap of water against the hull below your feet. The air here is permeated with the smells of engine oil and diesel fumes, all intermixed with the sweat of sailors and the sweet aroma of roasting amberjack. Welcome aboard the Ben 10, the jewel of the Lohajoan fleet. You will be safe here, safer than you were in your impound yards, or in Hioi, or at your mother's feet. Nothing enters these waters without Captain Utama's permission. Hey, if you say so. Oh, don't take my word for it, my friends. Look around you, see for yourself. In the distance, a cluster of enormous guns rise above the Ben 10's deck. Heavy artillery coupled with a group of old model Ares CWIS systems, millions of new yen worth of restricted military hardware, all mounted to a creaking barge with the resale value of a mid-range sedan. The seabed beneath your feet is littered with the carcasses of countless drones and aircraft. They all meet their doom to the roar of the Benton's mighty guns. Sheets of living lead tore wings from fuselages ripped through cockpits, shredded parachutes to tattered wrecks. And the waters that she protects are no safer for our enemies. Envision the seabeds that beneath your feet. New life springs from the bones of patrol crafts, coral of 1,000 new yens, hues, sprouting like wheat from the blotted bodies of those fools who have dared to trespass here. Our minds make short work of those who approach by sea. An elvish crewman steps forward and claps a hand on the orc's shoulder. His voice comes out in a breathy rumble. German speaks the truth, Shadowrunner. Nothing can approach this ship and live. Your guns are impressive, but that's a pretty big claim. Believe what you like, but I wouldn't question the Benton's capabilities in front of the captain if I were you. She's waiting for you, by the way. In your place, I would not keep her waiting long. What about my crew? They will wait for you in that rusted hulk that you call a home. The one that the corporate people towed here. It's over there. The bolt hole is here, but she's seaworthy. How did you... I made some calls. Amazing how much freight you can move with the tugboats and a couple of industrial lifting airframes. It must be nice being able to call in favors from a megacorp on a whim. It didn't happen on a whim, believe me. My relationship with corporate is beyond strained at the moment. You can talk with your friends later. Now go to the Utama and be quick about it. I tell you this for your own good. He's right. Wait for me at the bolt hole. We'll catch up later after I am done with the tour. Whatever you say, Seattle. Come on, guys. Let's go survey the damage. See what got broken during transit. Something always does. Kio, Vlados, you're with me. We have a captain to meet. Так, Captain to meet. Ну что, наверное, я буду на этом заканчивать. Дополнение это, конечно, дополнение. Но не стоит и перебарщивать. Пару миссий прошел. Надо будет погуглить, насколько это в итоге дополнение. По-моему, там 6 миссий было заявлено как основных. Надо посмотреть, уточнить этот нюанс. Ну и от этого зависит, за сколько я в итоге пройду это дополнение. За еще 1 присест или 2. Ну, 2 это максимум, скорее всего. Судя по тому, как развиваются события, должно быть не очень долго. Вот. Ну а пока всем спасибо за внимание. И, как говорится, до новых встреч.